You are listening to the Bring Joy Forward podcast. Conversations to explore, heal, and grow. You can find us on bringjoyforward.com and join us in our community group on Facebook. We now take you to the episode. Thank you for joining us. Welcome back to Season 2 of the Bring Joy Forward podcast. I am Shannon Dias with Imagineth Media, and I am joined by Shannon Brown from Open Door Healing. And we are going to kick off this season with a little revelation that Shannon made a few days ago. We thought would be kind of a great way to kick it off. The only person I can be a hero for is myself. And I was like, wow, that's pretty profound. Shannon, you want to get us started with where that all came from and why?
Sure. So I, like most of us that watch or are part of this podcast, are on healing journeys. And a couple of weeks ago, I went to a retreat. It was for ancestral healing through the matriarchal line. Probably said that wrong, but that's okay. Anyway, this retreat place, there is a very open connection to spirits. Like spirits come there to connect with the person that has this place. And so we were connecting with our, like I was connecting with my sister-in-law that died 6 years ago. And then also my grandma came in and some aunts. And honestly, my brother kept trying to come in to me, and he died last year. And it was like, no, this is for women, right? This is for women. And so I just kind of said, you can't come. Sorry, I'm healing my mother's stuff. I'm not healing with you right now. Okay. So anyway, and then over the course of the weekend, the other participant, there was only two of us, so we did some really huge deep diving, which was awesome. The other participant mentioned a song called Winds of Change. Okay. And she goes, I don't know why you need to know this, but this is, and of course that's what happens. Right. And I'm like, okay. So that was Saturday. And then Sunday we meet again. And I was relaying that, on getting up and going to the restroom in the middle of the night, which I never turn the lights on. Okay. I just don't. But for some reason, I felt like I needed to turn the light on. So I did. And there was a scorpion on the wall. And so I freaked out, of course. Okay. Because it's in the middle of the night. I'm kind of sleepy and I've been stung by scorpions before. And I'm like, okay. So I disposed of him properly. Couldn't wake my husband up to save me. Okay. I had to do it myself. So anyway, I'm relaying this story. And the other participant was like, oh my God. Winds of Change is sung by the Scorpions. Okay. Okay. So
I didn't even put that together.
We are all laughing. Okay. So then Monday, the next day, my hubby and I are headed up to a little town where he goes to his doctor, and we're at a construction light. Like it's just a temporary light, on this country road. We're sitting there waiting for it to turn green, and I look over, and the name of the company doing the construction is Scorpion Construction. And I'm like, okay, something's going on, right? So again, I'm just like, okay, universe, what is it that you need? Blah, blah, blah. Still not getting any hits or. And then last Monday, this week, I had a shitty Monday morning. I mean, my body was hurting. I just had argued with the donkey and goat all morning. I know people will probably laugh about that, but they're both very obstinate. And I came in and I was hot because it's still hot here at the time of this recording. And of course I'm barefoot 99% of the time. I go over to wash my hands and I kind of step on something and I just bring my foot up because it's not the floor. And I look down and it's a freaking scorpion. Now, I didn't get stung. Okay. But I was like, okay. And it didn't move. Like normally if you even barely brush over it, they normally put their tails up if you're not used to what scorpions are like. Because I mean, I've had that happen so many times in our other house that we used to have. Because again, I would get in the middle of the night and on the way back, I would flip lights on and there'd be a scorpion with his tail up, right? Because I had walked over. Anyway, so I thought it was dead. So I put it in the dustpan. And as soon as I did that, it came alive. Disposed of it properly. And then I immediately just texted a few friends and like, listen, guys, I need help. I'm having a crappy day and I need some love and light. I almost got stung and I'm just really pissed at the world right now. And then I had a 20-minute pity party and I cried and I yelled and screamed at the universe. What do you want, right? So Monday night, I was invited to do an EFT demonstration for a Sacred Women's Circle on Zoom. And
she's tapping, by the way, for those of you who are listening and not
sorry.
watching.
Okay, yeah. So I'm tapping. So anyway, while we're talking, it just popped in my head that my brother's been trying to contact me, and he was a Scorpio in this last incarnation. And I could literally hear him laughing in my head because he was a jokester and he would do things like hide in my closet and jump out, and scare me and stuff. And I was like, okay, I don't want to kill any more scorpions. I mean, but they don't belong in the house. Don't do that anymore. So I started writing with him. And one of the things that I'm channeling him. And one of the things that he told me was, you couldn't save me. Now he was very, when my sister-in-law died 6 years ago, it just devastated him. And he never recovered. And we knew at some point, I mean, he was just not taking care of himself. And we knew at some point that it was not going to end good. And he would reach out to me once in a while, for woo-woo healing stuff, as he called it. But he didn't want to make the changes necessary to bring himself out of the funk that he was in. And he finally they called it a heart attack, but I think he died of a broken heart, basically, right? But his thing was, you cannot save me. And then he went on to say, and you can't save mom. Now, my mom has dementia now, and I just put her in assisted living this past summer, and it's been a struggle. And so I am watching her slowly slip away, from who she used to be. Let's do some tapping. It's okay to feel the emotions.
Right.
So that's where that came from. Like, the only person, I can't save her. I can't save her from what's happening to her. I can be there as, if she needs things, but I can send her loving thoughts and all that. And again, when we get in that saving hero, because we're all healers and I really believe we want everybody to feel the joy, love, and peace that we feel, but we work hard at it. I mean, I know you do, and I do. I mean, it's not like wake up every day and I'm just happy and chipper. Sometimes I really have to work hard at it. And it may be not even anything to do with me. It may be because most of us are empaths. We're picking up on something else. And especially with the craziness seems like the world is getting crazier and crazier, as things compress. And people are going to be looking towards us like, save me. And it's like, well, I can't. I can. It's just like on the airplanes. You have to put the mask on yourself before you can help someone else. And so that came out of channeling with him, of writing with him, is you can only be your own hero. So continue doing your work. Continue to, my favorite thing, work in the shadows. Which you'd be so I've done so much shadow work this year. I've made friends with the shadow and said, okay, let's work on this instead of not now. So that's where that came from, was this conversation. And I've been conversing with him every day. I'll sit down with him for at least writing at least 10 to 15 minutes a day in a book. Then sometimes he'll just pop in my head, if I'm still enough, and say, well, blah, blah, blah. And one other thing that he did tell me, which I'm just going to throw out there because for some reason someone needs to hear this. He did mention that even though he's no longer in the physical body and he's in a different plane of existence, I guess we would call it, or whatever, it doesn't make him any smarter or any wiser. He's able to see some things, and along with him connecting with me now, he's more able to accept maybe some of the healing tools that I tried before. He's more open to it because he does feel, his energy does feel a lot lighter now when I talk to him, where it wasn't before. So anyway, that's where that came from. So be your own hero. And another thing that came out of the retreat, because I've been working with abandonment issues for all my life, right? And I'm sure, I mean, everybody has an issue that they work on, that they've, and so I worked on a lot with that. And I also came to the conclusion that I will never abandon myself, which is huge. I will always be there for myself now, and I will always be my own hero. And those were huge for me. Those were just, it gives you, it gives me a place of power and strength. And and then the one other thing, and I've been, like I said, really busy. I just finished Louise Hay's mirror work, 21-day mirror work. And I'm so proud of myself because I did it in 21 days, which for me to do a 21-day thing and all in succession that's a huge step. One of the lines that, what I did is I also integrated her affirmations into tapping. So every day she had affirmations and I would tap it in because that helps me cement it more. But one of the lines that I really love is that I am adequate enough for this situation. I no longer have to be perfect. I am adequate enough. And that is huge, at least for me. That's huge.
Yeah.
Because, growing, I'm sure a lot of us grew up where we were expected to be perfect and we tried our best. And I'm way past that now. I just do the best I can where I am and, with what I have. But giving myself permission to just be adequate, that to me is being a hero to myself. So
that's beautiful, and there's so much in there to unpack. That's like to all of season 2. We're gonna have all of season 2. But yeah, I think you said it at the beginning. We're all feeling a lot. There's a lot of heaviness that's going on. A couple of things that I wanted to kind of just draw attention to before we move away from it. One is you were getting a message a lot. It was coming through a lot. There was frequent taps into it. You are a very intuitive person, so you're recognizing when things are coming in. You also have a very give and take relationship with your spiritual side, I think. So sometimes it can be difficult for people who are kind of just starting out in this intuitive side of things to put up boundaries. And I love that you put up a boundary like right away. When Alan was first coming in, it was not a time that was appropriate for you. And you said, not right now, come back in. And I think that's really important to recognize and to put into practice. So if you're someone that's been doing this a while or for 5 minutes and you're not setting your own boundaries, it's really important to do that because you're the one in charge of yourself, right? This whole episode is about being a hero for yourself. It's owning yourself, owning where you are and how you walk in the world and how you interact with above, below, all of the different aspects that are interacting with you. And I think the important message in all of this is you said you're adequate enough. We put so many expectations upon ourselves in addition to what society molds us to do. And everybody is going to be different depending on what part of the world you're in, what words are, appropriate or not appropriate to use. I mean, there's so much that comes at us all the time, but it's what is adequate. What is adequate? Ask yourself, what is adequate? What is enough, right? Sometimes just being here is enough, right?
Yeah.
If you are going through your own existence and owning your place in your existence, and then also kind of processing your existence, like you mentioned, shadow work. Shadow work is all of those spaces where we go within ourselves and we process all the things that have been thrown at us in this lifetime. And both Shannon and I have been thrown a lot. So I'm constantly in that space. For those of you who have listened to us before, you know that I'm on a grief journey. And so there's a lot of that. Shannon mentioned before too, about like making an active effort. And that's really what all of this boils down to: awareness, intention, and effort in all of the things. So being aware of what's coming in, this scorpion's coming at me. What are you trying to say? And it got to the point where Shannon finally said, "What do you want? What are you trying to tell me?" And sometimes that's a matter of us personally not being ready to take in the information. Sometimes it's a matter of we haven't allowed ourselves to take in the information. We haven't slowed ourselves down enough to do it, right? But only you can do that. Only you can recognize it. And those signs and those, touches can happen in a multitude of ways. Shannon is very intuitive, very in touch, hears quite a bit, sees quite a bit, uses art for the practice. I do as well. My son speaks to me in music half the time or jokes, similar to Alan. There's a lot of that comes in from Zach. And I think with the world in the state that everything is in right now, we're recording this podcast shortly after the hurricane that has come in and absolutely decimated areas of the country. And so anybody who is an empath is walking really, really heavy right now because there is so much that is happening in the world, and both being processed and not being processed because of what's happening in the world. So I think the message in all of this that we're both kind of trying to get across is you are in charge of yourself. Mm-hmm. You can only control yourself. You can only listen to your inner workings if you allow yourself to do it, and if you stop the outer workings from coming in, right? So in order for you to be the hero for yourself, you have to believe that, which is a very, very difficult thing. So sometimes, mental illness can come into play and not allow that to happen. And we're all working through our own things, right? Everybody has things that they need to unpack. So the message in all of this is give yourself grace as you're doing that, no matter what your belief systems are. Give yourself time and encouragement to do it, and walk towards those things that bring you joy, that allow you to get into those headspaces. For Shannon and I, a lot of the times it's art and play. I mean, that's where we go most of the time. And we dive into our spiritual practices to support us in that diving deep and then in that shadow work. So find the things that work for you to allow you to be in that space to take it in. But if you don't do anything except for this one thing, just write on that piece of paper, I am adequate enough. And every day wake up and look at that piece of paper, I am adequate enough. And the only person I can be a hero for is myself. Maybe you'll bleed over into other people and be a hero for someone else. I know there's quite a few of you out there for me. But take ownership of yourself and start with, I am adequate enough to be that person for myself. Did you want to add anything else, Shannon?
Oh, that was beautiful. That was beautiful. What took me, 18 minutes took you 2?
I mean, I just got the summation, so that was all right.
Yeah, you're real good
It
at
takes.
that. Yeah, that's one of your wonderful gifts.
Oh, why? Thank you. It takes a village. It takes a village. So yeah. So I will end this season 1. I'm season 2, episode 1. By just letting you know that we're going to have various people come in and out throughout the season. There'll be a lot of what you got tonight or today or whatever. I don't know why I said tonight. Apparently somebody needed to hear it tonight. But what you got in this episode, there'll be a lot of that. But we're going to dive into many things. So if there's something that you personally feel very strongly like you would like more information about, or you just want to hear how somebody else deals with it, because let's be real, that's what Shannon and I are doing most of the time in here. That's what everybody else that comes on here is doing. We're sharing our personal experiences, how we walk in the world, how we see the world. And as healers, we're sharing things that we know have actually helped us, we've put into practice. So if there's something that you're looking to hear more about, you can just give us a message. You can go to our Facebook group, or you can visit us directly on our website, whatever works for you, and reach out and let us know. And we thank you for hanging out with us today. And we look forward to seeing you the next time, hearing you from you. I don't know who's talking through me right now, but thanks for hanging out with us on the Bring Joy Forward podcast. We'll see you soon. You have been listening to the Bring Joy Forward podcast. Conversations to explore, heal, and grow. You can find us at bringjoyforward.com, and we'd love to have you join us in our community Facebook group. Thank you for listening.